department yard over there also. These cameras here, these are cameras that are faced out to the front of the unit. Okay, let's say if a truck comes across a crossing and they hit that truck, they can tell, and the event recorder, it records the horn, the brakes, how many miles per hour you're going, everything else, and then this is a video that will actually show what happens as it's hitting the train or whatever. So it's insurance purposes that they have the video that they were across the tracks, but the event recorder will record anything like the engineer was blowing the horn, he dynamited the train, he tried to stop, and then if they still hit him or whatever, then, you know, they can see actually what was going on, you know, at the accident. Cylinder pressure. Now, when that's at zero, whatever, like every 2 minutes, the alerter will go off, and then this is, here's the alerter button up here where you can hear the sound. I'll let it go all the way until it dumps the air because I don't want it to dump the air, but it gets pretty loud. I'll take it down, I'll acknowledge it down there, because if it got down to 1, then it would dump the air. But that's the alerter system, and it does go off like every 2 minutes to keep the engineers alert, you know, and that's related to speed as they're going down the road, related to speed. So, okay, any questions about this one? This is all high voltage, and all those contacts and stuff go to the grids. These are all the electronics and everything else that have to do with it. This box right here runs all your phase modules, and these are all fiber optics here. These are all fiber optics that turn on and off the systems, and they have one phase module per each motor on these. Well, actually you have 3 phase modules, and 3 phases come out of, 1 phase comes out of 1 phase module to go to 3 separate motors, and then the next phase goes, that phase goes to all 3. So, and then there's 2 sets, there's a front truck and a back truck in the back. I mean, that's the motors. Where the trucks are, you got a front truck and a back truck. And then you got more back here. These are all the relays over here for different relays, turbo loop pump relays. There's a bell relay, computer relay, all resistors like ground relay resistors, just different things. Here's your relays and everything with the modules and the stuff back here. That runs all your. It's pretty amazing that there's so much stuff, and I got to troubleshoot all this electric. Ones, let's say like your air brake setup, you just push air brake setup, and this is cut in for a lead. That's how you would change it all with the computer. This is the diagnostics. You can go in there, and if everything is good, everything is reading here, or otherwise it'll start giving you faults. If there's active faults, okay, they have, see, that's probably why they're here, because they all have problems, okay? And then there's some of the faults that would come up for your log that would come up, and then you would troubleshoot. These are all fault codes, so you can actually look up that number and then see what. But some of these aren't really, you know, faults. They're like incident faults, you know, just to kind of tell you what the unit's been doing. But then some of them may be. Okay. And then over here, that's for, see, they might be loading software on here, because that's probably kind of part of the software screen where you load the software. And then most of them have like sun visors in them, you know, like when they're headed into the sun, and different things. So and they got, you know, 2 or 3 of them. Each one of them got one. Well, this one looks like it's broke. but that one needs to be put on, or they'll probably put one on before it leaves. And then those are lights up there, and then these other two knobs are windshield wipers. They have the windshield wipers up here, and the brand new one is like a big switch panel, but it has modules and stuff in it too. It's a computer part of the computer also, okay? And these are just all the relays and different things that are involved with everything. Like I've had to pull them out and reprogram these computers. We got to reload software. We do all that stuff. So, okay. Time that these lights are on, that means that they're powered up down here. These are all IGBTs. They're integrated gate bipolar transducers is what they are. Those are your phase modules. On a GE, those two run, all that whole bank is like for number one. Okay, the top two are like for one phase, the next two are for another phase, and the other two are for another phase. This is different technology than what the 70 ACE is, okay? And those modules down there, they run your traction motors, which are running these, which are computerized also. Those are your dynamic brake contactors. Those put in your dynamic brakes when you're going down a hill to try to slow the train down. Those big contactors come in, and then they're dissipated. There's grids up here on top, and blowers that blow out here, okay? And those contactors from the motors go through those contactors, and these grids are like a giant toaster. So when the wheels are going, all that current goes up to the grids, and then the blowers cool the grids as you're trying to slow down. See, actually, this type of unit right here, only has one blower, or there's one motor, but there's two blowers, so there's two sets of grids up in there. It's one motor, but they've got two separate grid blowers. One blows up this way, and this one blows up this way. These are for the dynamic brakes, and when we're in load test, these will be going full speed in load test. Up on that card that's on that door up there. You know, this one's just sitting dead. So hopefully your lighting will get you the pictures. See, this does have the PTC. In certain units, then they put it here. Remember that other one was over here? Yeah. So this is the new PTC system that they put in here. And we install some of them here too, so I'll show you how they strip everything out. And then they acquire it. Now see, this one doesn't have the third screen in it here either. I thought maybe it would have. But see, they're similar to the same screens over there as that one over there. Now this one, does this have, okay, this is where the PTC would go here, and this is where the radio would go on this particular model. And when you load the software, here's where you load the software. Some of them are going to have little zip drives, others are going to have like a PMICA card, you know, a regular, like a credit card file. This one here will be a little zip card that you can load the information onto the zip card, and then you can load the new software into the screens. Nice. Locomotives, and if you want to walk down here, we can, and then we can circle back up around. Down here they make them eye levels, and then they change out like brake shoes. They pull out the little pins, and then they drop the brake shoes in there. These are like an axle drive that runs your speedometer. Now this is an older unit here, and they can lube, and then like electrician, these covers here, these have actual DC motors in them, so they have brushes in them, so they gotta pull the brushes out, maintain the brushes. Okay, which we'll go back up the stairs and then come back. We got stairs here that you can go up. Or we got, if you wanted to see more down here, this is just, if you do, that's fine. That's fine. Now, this is a SD of some sort. I'm not sure what it is. That's a 55. That's an Evo. That's a new evolution. But see, those are older ones because the 55s came out and the 54s. And now the 7000s are the newer ones. Okay. And this one here is This is a GE also because these are speed sensors here, which tell you how fast the speed of the traction motor is going, or that it's working, so they can monitor and see if it's got a locked up wheel or whatever, and it all monitors it to the computers and the stuff up here. This, of course, is the handbrake, and this probably has an electronic. I'm not sure this has got electronic handbrake, but it's got it could be over there on the other side. And here's the fuel tank from a different perspective. And they do hold 5,000 gallons of fuel. There's 44, this is right up there at 45. This might be like, and there'll be closer ones outside that we can get pictures of. And see, they have a manual gauge, and then they have a sight glass on there also. And here's how they fill them up. Hopefully we can go outside and we'll watch them fill up the units and whatever. Load test the unit, I'll take you back out. You know, if Dan's load testing that one out there that we were on, we'll go back out and, you know, see if you can't run it up here. Okay? This is where they totally strip, like a lot of the wiring and stuff out, and then which we can go down there. We can put back in. These are all new wires that's going to go back in for that PTC system I was telling you about before. Strip it all out, strip the roofs down. I used to play tennis with him all the time, and then he hurt his leg and he couldn't play tennis anymore. A GE assembly, so it probably blew up or something like that, or had water leaks where they got to take it out, put in a new one. Exhaust fans and cooling, and then there's your stack. Now on this one here, it's got 3 sets of grids, but I think when we're only using 2 of them, but on some of the SPs and some of the units, they have like 3 sets of grids. Those are your grids where your blowers blow through, and then they blow up and out of here. So that's hot air that comes out of those grids up there. Okay? Steven, are you working hard today? No? Well, take it easy then. Working smart? Okay. Now, when you're in here, when you're stepping over these, you got to be really careful. So these, which is like one's ATC, one's CCS, and one's a departure test switch, so you can test it, you know, before it goes out the door. These are sander valves up here to control your sanders for front and rear part of the truck. And this is a toolbox. We just have like tools for, you know, like the engineers have. Well, they have a hammer, they're supposed to have a chisel, they have extra air hoses, and there's extra O-rings for the glad hands when they leak, for the hoses that go between the locomotives. Those are just extra gaskets that they go in there. There's a knuckle. There's a knuckle right there, a knuckle pin, I should say, a knuckle pin. And then there's like a flag kit that's got a red flag, and years ago, I don't know if they still use them, but they usually put the flares in there. Okay. This is an ARC system. This talks all the components that's in the cab, and it can send all the information like to Omaha, you know, to see what the locomotive's doing. This is our cab signal. Stuff that's in here. These are DPU radios here for that distributed power I was talking about in the other unit. That's like an event recorder. Those are older ones. This is part of the video system here, you know, that runs the cameras. Yeah. This is part, and that records all the information from the video. Okay.